Thank you for staying with us and welcome back from Heat or Miss. I hope that you enjoyed it. Priva Elivers and Siobhan Alma, we're actually bringing to you some African, clothes. Yes, I hope that you love them and you'll be able to actually make you one, just like Siobhan said. Well, welcome to our views. My name is Agi Oase, and today we are talking about overprotection. Now, overprotection or overprotecting someone, it means you giving protection more than is necessary or reasonable. Let us put it, if it's a child, you're protecting them. You are literally like, you're micromanaging them. That is a conversation that we've ever had before. And if you put it in a relationship, interpersonal relations, it can be your friends, it can be your family, it can be anybody. This is where you protect someone to the extent that he or she fails to become independent. And, you're just all about them every now and again. You want to know where they are. You want to know what they're doing. Every nitty-gritty of their life, you're all about them and you want to know. Well, joining me today are the ladies, Sarah Apollo, Siobhan Alma, and Priva Elivers. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Aggie.
Okay, let's get to it. So what do you think of overprotection?
It's a terrible thing. I know people say it comes from a good space, but when I think of overprotecting, I think of someone who is very jealous. I think of someone who is very controlling. I think of someone who is very demanding. I think of someone who thinks less of, other people. I think of someone who thinks they only have the blueprint of how life should work. So for me, nah, it's not a good thing in my parts. Maybe for only one exception goes to the parents, where you find parents are actually protecting their kids. I think for parents it comes from a good space. Okay, 99% of the times, yeah. I know there's people who just do it because they have other motives, but I think for parents it comes from a good space, and it's because they want to see their kids be better in life, be something in life. So yeah, I would say overprotective parents, they can be excused, but the rest of a boyfriend, friend, come on.
Okay, Siobhan Alma.
Being overprotective, I do not concur with it, and I think this time I'll side with what Pri has already highlighted on. Why would you want to overprotect someone? First of all, let's say who is an adult, who is above the age of 18. Meanwhile, regardless of parents, because that one it's highlighted, parents maybe I allowed some bit of slack because they are parents, they have a right to protect you overly. Of course sometimes it gets toxic, but people who are not your parents, your boyfriend, I do not know who, they are overprotecting you, they are tapping your phone, they're getting to know who you're hanging out with. Now here they are trying to mess you up all over again. Like, it's crazy. For me, overprotection first of all is a sign of someone who is a control freak.
Okay.
Someone who constantly wants to be in control. That is someone who is actually overprotective, and it's a very toxic trait, because if you constantly feel the need to protect someone even when they don't want your protection. Okay. I mean, let's look at the incidents where people have gone out to the bar, or they've gone out for coffee, and you're out with your friends, maybe me and a guy, and then somehow your other guy friend who is interested in you walks in, and then they're punching and throwing around bottles. Why are you being protective? Am I asking for help?
Okay. Sarah Apollo?
I think it's the trauma response. When people become overprotective, when you're overprotective, that means you're paranoid about something. You may be suffering from PTSD and you don't even know that you are suffering from it. It could be PTSD from abandonment issues, or abuse, or war, or having just been in a situation that you felt was unfavorable, and now you find yourself in a place where you need to protect your loved ones or the people you love from that same outcome or circumstance or situation. For me, it's a trauma response, because now, for instance, when parents become overly protective of their parents and they're constantly checking what they're doing on social media, constantly inquiring who their friends are, constantly wanting to know where you're going. I mean, this world is scary. You may have come across news or come across stories where some children had a very unlikely fate or something happened to them, and now you don't want that to happen to your children. When it comes to lovers as well, post-traumatic stress, you may be dealing with abandonment issues. Okay, you're afraid to let them out of their sight because you think if they leave, they're not going to come back.
Yeah.
It's a trauma response to something. It could be a trauma response from abuse. You've been abused before. Now you're overly, protecting and shielding this person because you don't want them to hurt. It comes from a good place.
Okay.
But people need to understand, where is it coming from? Is it because I have been traumatized in the past? Am I struggling with something? Some people have mental issues, or some people have psychological issues, whatever the case may be. healthy that some people just work different than other people.
Okay.
Do you get?
Yes.
So for me, it's a trauma response.
Okay, well, these are some of the ways that you can actually identify an overly protective person. One of them is they express their deep love early. You're just 2 weeks into the relationship and you're already, saying I'll die for you today and tomorrow. The other one is they're jealous and interrogate you about literally everything. About, what were you doing with the other person? Who were you talking to? Everything. They try to cut you off from your friends and especially those of the opposite sex. Sarah mentioned that. They blame you for their negative feelings and actions. They tell you what you can and cannot wear. You're not wearing this dress to the club. You're not wearing, this, whatever it is, they always tell you. And maybe usually this comes on the part of men who will tell you that dress is overly skimpy because they're probably scared that people might find you attractive.
No, they just lack confidence and self-esteem. They feel that they are not worthy of being in a relationship.
That's the thing. They're scared that someone else might take you away from them. So the other one is they follow you everywhere claiming it's for your safety, and it's never for your safety. The other one is they have unreasonable expectations of you. The other one is they check your phone and your location at all times. Let's talk about ladies. There's people who argue that if a man loves you or if a woman loves you, they'll be overly protective of you. They will, check your phone. They will try to check up on you literally every time of the day. They want to, know everyone in your circle. They want to go out with you every other day. It's like they have no friends. So do you consider
no life?
Yes. Do you consider an overly protective person do you consider overprotection as a form of love or possessiveness?
Absolutely not.
Both.
Absolutely not.
Love?
However, before Priva comes, let me absolutely not for me. But however, there are women who actually like that. Because I've met a couple of people who actually like when their men protect them because they feel the need for, the man in the shining armor to come riding on a donkey and save me, and I want to be protected. Meanwhile, on a donkey, not on a horse. So there are actually people, but also for the women who feel that way, maybe they have known no love other than that. I mean, maybe they have seen their parents, their father, constantly protecting their mom and asking, where are you? Who have you been talking to? And that kind of thing. And that is how they want to be treated. For me, I wouldn't want to be treated like that. I don't think that's the kind of thing I would want to be doing.
Okay.
So I'm going to say both. For the issue of love, I feel like if a parent is very overly protective when it comes to their child, it's because maybe they're looking at the actual risk that is present in the environment that the child is, living, the people that they're associating with. You cannot be a right-thinking member of society, and for some reason life has put you somewhere in a slummy area and there's drug abuse and there's domestic violence and there's all these things that are happening in the community, and you're not overly protective. You will have failed as a parent. You will have failed as a parent. So for me, I think for parents, it's always coming from a place of love. We want to protect our children, not only physically, but emotionally as well. But where it gets very possessive is where you have a boyfriend, like you mentioned in like previously, you're talking of, dress code. They are dictating what you should wear, where you should go, checking your phone. Why are you checking an adult's, phone, unless you're an FBI or CIA type of something?
How about stealing your partner's phone?
Also, it's ridiculous. That is not love. That is possessiveness. And I feel like, I know she hinted on it, and it's very valid. Sarah, she hinted on it, it's very valid. People suffer from, PTSD and so many things here and there. But I feel like it should not be a reason as to why you go and make someone's life a living hell. Work on your issues, work on your problems. If it is your background where you grew up from, work on that. If it's your inner demons, face them, so that you can be a better person, a better friend, and a better partner in general to your people in your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it's overprotection is not healthy. What love is, and love gives you the freedom to be yourself and do whatever it is that you want. And also we have rights. The Constitution has it. We have our rights. We can do whatever it is and go wherever it is that we want. At the end of the day, society understands love as I have to guard you. I have to be jealous if somebody else wants it. We protect the things that we love very jealously, and jealous in itself is not healthy. Has never been a healthy behavior trait, never at all. But we are jealous of the things and we got the things that we want, because many of us have been raised on struggle and not on love. We don't really understand what love is, and we don't understand what it means to love somebody, because again, it means suffocating someone. I have to be all over your business. At the end of the day, if it's a child, if it's an adult, that person has their freedoms, their rights, and they can choose to do whatever it is that they want to do. We as an individual can only control our actions, our behaviors, and the things that we choose to do. You can never control another person. And when you feel like you are not controlling that person, what do? You try to shield them. You try to do everything for them because you think you're making their life easier. In other words, you're just disabling them and making them not be able to be independent individuals on their own. So overprotection is not healthy, but I do understand where people come from, because all of us in one way or the other is dealing with some kind of trauma. We are also very protective of our best friends. You've heard where best friends get jealous because your best friend is talking to somebody else.
That is being low on self-esteem.
I don't think
It's
so.
a feeling.
I don't think so.
It's
real.
An insecurity.
It's something
It's actually
real.
an
It's an
insecurity.
It's an insecurity.
No, it comes down to trauma. You have experienced something. You have never experienced
Abandonment, maybe.
someone who has been your person. So now when you get this person, you want to guard them against all costs, and then you now start exhibiting jealousy, anger, frustration. You're stalking them, you're surveilling them. Everybody's dealing with trauma, and that is why we end up being overprotective. And the funny thing is that people who are overprotective have just never experienced love in the purest and healthiest form.
Well, what I get from what the ladies and their submissions, they are saying that actually being an overprotective person, it's not like you love the other person. And for me, I'll say it comes from a space or a place of insecurity, that you are insecure as an individual and you're trying to project, your insecurities on the other person. But briefly, this is how you can go about an overly protective person. One of them is stand your ground and set your rules. The other one is introduce them to your circle of friends so that maybe they can be comfortable with who you're going out with. And the other one is do some reverse psychology. It might actually work. Well, thank you so much for joining us on our views this morning. This is Sunrise at Sea. Don't blink.
Well, unfortunately, the show has come to an end. I am very sad and I hate to leave you. But it's Friday, the weekend is here, and I hope that you have a wonderful time. I hope you make wise choices. We had very incredible conversations on the show today. Today we discussed domestic violence. And as Judith Owambabazi said, please, domestic violence begins and it should end with you. So take steps to intentionally and actively take yourself away. If you're a perpetrator and if you find yourself in the position where you abuse people, please reflect, get counseling, and change your behaviors. Domestic violence is a symptom of an underlying issue. And if you're a victim, please find the strength and courage today to move forward and move on, because you do not deserve it. It's against religion, the Bible, it's against the laws of this land in the Constitution. And also please empower yourself, educate yourself, and find ways that you can find help. Nobody else is going to come and remove you from that situation but yourself, all right? Okay? And for people who are overprotective, please find out what it is you are struggling with. Find out what your traumas are and go on and proceed to exhibit love in the healthiest way possible. From the ladies and I, goodbye. Follow SOPs until next week on Monday. Have a great weekend and be blessed.